In the mid-1700s, when English settlers arrived in the area known as Alstead, New Hampshire, they found that nature had created a small gorge with a brook running through it and a bed of rock near the surface, an ideal location for the placement of mills. Less than a quarter-mile upstream, they found a small lake. They referred to it as the Great Pond, which offered a steady supply of water. The length of the gorge proved sufficient for as many as 5 mills and their related buildings. These mills became the economic base for the small but busy industrial center that came to be known as Mill Hollow. Water-powered mills were critical to the survival of early settlers. Sawmills provided the planks with which to build homes and barns for livestock. Lathes were used to make tools, as well as tables, chairs, and other furnishings. Grist mills turned grain into flour for food. Mills also provided economic opportunity. This is the story of one of those mills, the lone survivor, today known as Chase's Mill. During the first 30 years of the 19th century, sheep farming expanded in New Hampshire and provided a period of prosperity. At its peak, Alstead had 6,000 sheep, and many mills evolved to aid in the processing of raw wool. No machine weaving was done in Mill Hollow, but carding, spinning, and fulling all promoted the production of wool fabric. The 1858 map of Alstead identifies the mill as G.W. Draper's grist mill and carding machine. Later, a sawmill was operated on this site by Frank Messer. Messer used the mill to manufacture wood products, shingles, chair stock, dowels, bucket handles, sap spouts, moldings, as well as cider for members of the community. Milling waned with the approach of the 20th century, as more and more people began to rely on electricity. But water power was to enjoy one more burst in Mill Hollow. In 1910, architect Hartley Dennett moved to the Holler from Boston. He tore down what remained of Messer's mill. From 1916 to 1920, he built the structure that exists today. He utilized timber from early buildings as well as machinery from nearby mills that were no longer functioning. The mill served as Dennett's woodworking shop, but it also served the community for threshing grain and cutting wood. Upstairs, above the woodworking shop, people gathered for discussions, plays, dances, and art classes. After Dennett's death in 1936, the mill passed to his stepson, Heman Chase, a philosopher, surveyor, and master craftsman. He continued the tradition of making the space available for community use. One of Chase's students was Toby Dennett, grandson of Hartley Dennett. When Heman died, he left the mill to Toby. Since Toby Dennett's death in 2004, the millworks have been silent, though its current owners have worked to keep the mill standing. Through the support of the community, some repairs have been made to preserve the mill. Repairs have been made to the foundation. A rubber membrane temporarily covers the roof. The Mill Hollow Heritage Association was formed in 2012 as a nonprofit. Its purpose is to purchase the mill, rehabilitate the structure, and once again reopen its doors to the community, this time as a living museum and as a makerspace. Through the Mill Hollow Heritage Association, volunteers have been working to rehabilitate the mill in keeping with preservation standards. Our vision is to share the rich history of water-powered mills and rural ingenuity in New England, and to demonstrate rural technologies as keys to a sustainable future. The mill will preserve both our heritage and serve as a spark of inspiration for the community. Our goal is to bring the mill back to life through exhibits and classes on woodworking, boat building, and more. Through the generous gifts of individuals, Foundations, businesses, and other organizations, we seek to purchase the property by November 2016, rehabilitate the building, reopen to the public as a living museum and makerspace by 2020. Together, we can preserve our heritage and provide a place of inspiration for generations to come. Please join us in this important effort.